So what am I going to be talking about today? Well, runes. A number of you have written in or sent texts asking about the runes. Before we get cracking on this, let me issue a warning to you. These are not toys and not to be played with lightly. There are two paths you can go on the runes. You could go academically or you could go esoterically. I'm going to talk today about the origins. There are two books I'm going to recommend to you, one academic, one esoteric, and that will take you on. Later on, I will be covering the meaning of the runes. I'm doing 25 because we have the blank rune, which some of you would disagree with, well that's up to you, but I found it very useful. So, first of all, there are several different types of rune rows, or Futhark as we call them. Futhark because the first few runes spell the word Futhark, but due to linguistic differences, there are the 33 runes of the Northumbrian Futhark, which is called Futhark because that's what it's spelled. Brief history lesson. If we go back to ancient Greece and we look at their calligraphy, then we go to the Etruscans. Now, Rome, as you may or may not know, invaded the land of the Etruscans, and they got the intelligentsia out of that land, and some of them went north and took with them their alphabet. Now if you can't read or write, then these letters would seem magical. It's up to you whether you believe they're magical or not. We have studied runes many years, and unfortunately it's got a blemish of the Nazis. However, they had a rune row that was formed in 1902 by Guido von List, and he went temporarily blind in a cataract operation. And in that time, he said the runes came to him. It's called the Armenan rune row, and that's the one the Nazis used. I'm going to be talking about the Elder Futhark, as the name would infer. We are talking about an older rune row, as I say. So, as I say, there are two paths you can go by. You can look at them academically, in which case I suggest The Runes by R.V. Elliott, 1958, still widely available, very academic thought. For those of you who wish to go on the esoteric side, there's Tony Willis's book, The Runic Workbook. You can get it off Amazon and places like that. That is, for me anyway, the most useful book. I recommended it to various people in the time. You could go beyond that, but that's another story. So, we look back on these, there are so many different rune rows. The elder one, as I say, is the one we should be looking at. It's around about the 6th century it came into view. So why are there so many rune rows? Well, partly it's due to linguistics. As I said, in England, the Anglo-Saxon or Northumbrian rune row is 33 and has runes which themselves are not in the elder one or the younger one. So what is a rune? If you look in the dictionary, the word rune comes out as whispered secret, and the knowledge they convey is secret. Now, you can do magic with them. I'm not here to teach you magic. I'm here to teach you the practicalities of it and to look at the meanings of each rune. So as I say, what were they used for? Well, they were used in everyday language. We find what we call merchant tags. They look like tent pegs and they have a series of runes on them. They're also used magically and were found hidden. That's because the ancients believed that if a spell was hidden, it was more powerful. Some of the runes may seem to be just abstract collections of runes and have no meaning. They certainly do have meanings, which I'm not going to go into. How do you get started on runes? Well, you can buy runes, which are perfectly good, or you can make your own. You can make your own out of wood, bone. I've seen brass runes and ceramic ones, and some on natural crystals. My suggestion is you have oblong ones because you have to read them upright and reversed. If it's round, it's sometimes difficult to sort that out. It's whatever suits you. And this is the point. A lot of it is intuition. It's what's in you, what is communicated through that. Don't be frivolous with them. You can, if you're not careful, if you abuse them, they will abuse you. And I'd say take it seriously. If you're not prepared to take it seriously, then don't bother. So what you need as a rune caster is a pouch to put your runes in, obviously runes to go in the pouch. The pouch should be of natural material, cotton, something like that, and a cloth to cast them on. This keeps your runes cleaner, and it's a tradition. If you look at Tacitus Germania, we hear about the Germanic tribes who cast a sheet on the ground, and he talks about selected lots carved on fruit wood. It can be carved on sticks, as I say. It can be little tablets of wood, bone, and you want to look at the colours of them. They are divided into 3 sections called eights, because there's 8 in each section. And you then have a blank rune in the modern set. Some people don't want to know about the blank rune. Well, that's up to you. I've, as I said, found them quite useful. So, you have your pouch, you have your runes, and you have your cloth. The cloth should be plain. There's a reason for that. You have to keep doing it until it becomes second nature so you don't think about it because you're concentrating on the message you get from the runes themselves. The meanings of each rune, as I say, we will go through and we'll do a meaning for each one. There are courses you can go on. The one I went on, I was 4 years doing it, but it doesn't run anymore. I'm sure if you scour the internet, you will find them. Things to be aware of. If you get a runecaster who's got a title, a strong title, avoid him. You're not there for self-aggrandisement, you're there to teach and to pass on the knowledge. There was a resurgence, as I say, of runic casting and of the Norse tradition of religion. Oh, by the way, you don't have to be a pagan to do this. But it helps. So anyway, there was a resurgence of paganism, rune casting, in the 80s. It suffered greatly, as I say, from the Nazis, who misused and abused the runes, and in fact the two main rune casters at the time were imprisoned in a prison camp. One of whom died in the camp, the other guy called Marby died in the 50s, but he tried to reintroduce the runes. So it depends what rune rowing. Some people work with the Northumbrian or Anglo-Saxon runes. There is the Younger Futhark, and the one I use is the Elder Futhark, and that's the one I'm going to be telling you about. There was even a rune row of 16 runes, which didn't prove to be that successful. So why are there so many? Well, as I said earlier, it's linguistics, and also we are bridging the gap between paganism and Christianity. Guys who are familiar with the Elder Futhark may well have been converted to Christianity. And as I said earlier, the word rune means whispered secret. And so, alternate. Oh, right, it's dropped a stick. And it's a tradition that's been carried on for centuries. Interestingly enough, in Iceland, in the 19th century, they were looking for a vicar. One of the conditions was he had to be able to read the runes. Interestingly, in the 15th, 16th century, runecasters were sentenced to death in Iceland. So it strikes you as odd as it should be in there. Iceland, in actual fact, is one of the few countries where they have a government-approved runecaster. And I'm sure if you go to Iceland, he'll cast the runes for you, although there's plenty of people in this country who can. Like I say, avoid what we call in the trade cloak flappers. If they've got a long title, forget it. It's just, no. But experience will teach you who's for real and who isn't. As I say, take things carefully. It's not a game. It's like the Ouija board. People think it's a game. It's not. It's very, very dangerous. The runes, we need to treat them with respect. So, to recap, the two books I suggested to you on an academic level, R.V. Elliott's Runes, a book called The Runes, 1958. It's widely accepted and is a good introductory to the runes. For those of you wishing to do esoteric, then there's Tony Willis's The Runic Workbook, both of which are pretty easy to come by, and we will be looking at the runes individually at future times. So until then, all I can say to you all is, happy casting, and take care. Till we meet again. Oh, hello, who's this?
One thing you didn't mention, and I should have mentioned this, is that until very recently, and I still believe it may still be practiced, is that in Finland they had a thing called runic calendars.
Yeah, the rimstock.
Yeah, I'm just wanting my dinner.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad Bragi brought that one up. They still use them today, rimstocks. Rimstocks, there is a good book by Nigel Pennick. He writes very sensibly about things runic, and he talks about rimstocks. And they seem, from what I can gather, to be almost like calendars, and are used even to this day. We find rimstocks. So, again, another book for you. Practical Magic by Nigel Pennick. Anything by Nigel Pennick is good. He knows what he's talking about. There's also R.I. Page's Introduction to Runes. So all these books I keep recommending to you. It's like most things. What appeals to me may not appeal to you. And there's a lot of hokum written about runes, as there are indeed about many of the occult practices. And it's up to you to look at them, analyse them, and take what you feel is relevant to you. So, as I said earlier, till we meet again, happy casting. Bye now.